can I paint this one as a picture
Oh,
for
please,
you?
please do.
Okay.
Yes.
Your name
Mhm.
is Peter Fitzer.
It is.
You're a 34-year-old Colorado resident, okay?
Close enough, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm painting a
I
picture
know,
for you here. Stay with me.
watching your strokes, baby.
All right, lovely. You're a 34-year-old Colorado resident. You
Mhm,
love reptiles. You
mhm,
love them,
mhm. Do.
especially venomous reptiles from the southwestern United States. You think
Okay.
to yourself, I'm going to get a really docile but beautiful reptile. Kyle,
Mhm.
pull up a picture of a Gila monster, please. You decide to get yourself a Gila monster.
Yeah.
Okay. A
Yep.
venomous reptile, see it? Beautiful creature. It's got
Yeah.
the orange patterning, the black beads. And I know this
Yeah.
is hard for you to envision as a non-reptile guy, but you're like,
Mhm.
"Wow, look at my adorable pet Gila monster."
Sure.
Now,
Yeah.
you decide, as most people do that have these, by the way, that you're gonna handle it. And you know this, Peter, you know this. You know that bites are usually not fatal to humans because
Mhm.
while they do have venom, it is, not particularly toxic and it will make you sick, but it's likely not going to kill you.
Okay.
Sure enough, it bites you.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it
And
does.
that yep.
What do you think happens to you next, Peter?
Because I already think that it's not fatal, I don't go to the hospital or get any medical
Mhm,
care,
mhm,
and
mhm.
eventually I lose a limb.
It's a good guess. However, you start feeling incredibly ill. You go
Yep.
on Google, you find out that the last time somebody died from a Gila monster bite was in the 1930s. So you're like, the likelihood that something's gonna happen is bad. But guess what? You have an allergic reaction to the
Oh
venom,
my
Peter.
god.
You're rushed to the hospital, you tell everybody what happened,
Mhm.
but guess what? Nothing they can do. And sadly,
Jesus.
unlike the real 34-year-old Colorado resident,
Mhm.
you pass away. Well,
Wow,
no,
dude.
he did pass away is what I'm saying.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's the story that came out. I'm curious, I don't know if, I thought it was illegal to keep Gila monsters. Can you look that up, Kyle or Edwin? Or was he keeping this reptile legally? Did he have a permit?
It
Maybe the
can't
state of
be.
Colorado is different. I'm really
No,
not
it
sure.
can't be legal. Like, I mean, it's illegal to have a ferret. You can have
Well, you
a
could have licenses. That's why I'm asking. So I
gotcha.
know I don't know if he had a license or not. That's why I'm curious.
Okay. Yeah.
So it says Colorado requires a permit to keep a Gila monster. So he could have had that permit. I'm curious. I don't know whether his was illegal or not.
It looks like he did not have one, in fact.
Or it apparently did not have one. So he was like low key in these venomous reptiles. What do you make of that? Are you I'm not happy the guy died. I'm certainly not. I don't want to take come
No.
off the wrong way. But what do you make of that? He's illegally keeping an animal that he's not supposed to have. It bites him. He has an allergic reaction and he dies. What
Yeah.
do you make of that?
Listen, I mean, it's a tragedy because anytime you can have an allergic reaction to anything. You could have had
Anything.
it to the flu vaccine, all
Totally.
that bullshit. Like, and they tell you to take precautions whenever you're putting any kind of new thing into your body. And I mean, it's one in a billion chance of happening, but it can happen. And this poor fucking guy, had an allergic reaction. There's nothing they could do. Although I do find it interesting that there was nothing that they could do. I wonder if it was because they didn't know he was also having an allergic reaction. Because I would
Yeah, it
imagine they'd
could
be able
be.
to use an EpiPen or something to combat that part of the poisoning.
You know what's so interesting? And it's something that never gets talked about. And I think that this is really interesting for the brosners. The problem that we see so much in the US is when they're dealing with medicine or venom, envenomation, poison, toxin, parasites, airborne or not airborne, but mosquito-borne illnesses
Mhm.
that US doctors don't know how to deal with. And
Sure.
here's the reason, right? If he had been bitten by a Gila monster in Gila, Arizona, which is a real place, by the way,
Yeah.
Gila Bend, Arizona, they would have known exactly what to do and how to treat it. But I'm
Yeah.
guessing because this happened in Colorado, that doctors didn't know what to do. They're like, "Yeah, it's a Gila monster bite. Like, what do we do? Like,
Sure.
like, how do we handle this?" I just saw an interesting thing. I don't think we ever had Chandler on the pod. Maybe we did, but Chandler's Wildlife. He's an
Doesn't ring a
interest.
bell.
Yeah, maybe we could, you know what? He was supposed to be on an Animal Con and then he like no showed to
Oh,
Animal
yeah.
Con.
I
Yeah, that
remember.
Chandler.
Yeah. Mhm.
Interesting kid. I just watched this thing where he actually, I think we'll make this part of the Darwin Awards. Kyle, pull up the video where Chandler gets tagged by the cobra. I think we looked at this once before. Anyway, while Kyle's finding that, Chandler
Yeah.
gets tagged by this cobra in the hand, right? He
Mhm.
does this happens in India. He goes to the hospital in India, they treat it, and he immediately heads home the next day. Cobra bites have pretty fucking gnarly lasting side effects.
For
Well, when he
sure.
gets home, he looks at his finger and it's necrotic. It's black and dying.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard the story from his mouth. Yeah, so here he is getting tagged by the cobra on the finger. I heard the story, and maybe Kyle can find it. It's also on his YouTube. So he gets tagged on his finger in India. He gets treated. They obviously don't formally treat it, so this isn't really backing up my point. But then he gets to the States and goes in and goes, "Hey, my finger's necrotic from this cobra venom. It's this type of venom," and he knows all about it because he's a hobbyist.
Yeah.
He ends up going to 5 different hospitals before they figure
Jesus.
out what to do, and because it took them so long, his finger continued to erode, and he lost the majority of his finger. So, you can find it on his YouTube now,
Yikes.
Kyle. You can see, like, where his finger is nubbed off, because by the time they got to somebody that was capable of treating it, because it's such a specialized thing, he had
Yeah.
lost so much finger, they had to cut off half of the finger,
Yeah.
over the fact that and it's understandable. It's not like most doctors are dealing with a specialized Indian cobra venom bite on a regular basis. But yeah, see the nub there?
Yep.
That's because he didn't have anybody that could treat the cobra bite properly and the necropsis. And nobody would listen to him, even though he's just a hobbyist, going, "This is the type of venom. This is what you guys need to do." And they're like, "Huh, we're the doctors. You should listen to us."